Hello, beautiful humans. Sorry we were late. Logan was waiting on his fish tickets.
Still haven't gotten them. We don't know yet.
No, oh, still
Big point of
fingers crossed.
contention
Sorry,
right now. We're
we're
waiting.
a little bit in line there, and then we are also launching an event today. We launched a Black Friday Cyber Monday guide, which you can go download right now. triplewell.com/BFCM. It's a compilation of all the best strategies, tactics to help you print more money in this Black Friday. And then we'll also go through some strategies on how to leverage Triple Well to make a Black Friday Cyber Monday. But before we dive into that, anything you guys want to kind of chat about or beat around, or any cool updates people should know about besides these are amazing. They sent some to the office, Dr. Perfy's, and it tastes just like Dr. Pepper without like all. Really amazing. So shout out Vasa who sent this out. Amazing.
That's fun.
Is that an NFT on the can?
It should be, right? There's that, and then
It is an
we
NFT.
also have some Liquid Death as well. They're
Very nice.
crushing it right now. It's actually in pretty insane business. When you
Yeah, you're holding
kind of peel it back.
0.001% of their valuation in your hand.
Exactly. It's pretty crazy to have that. And then, as always, we'll answer any questions you guys have. I have two of the biggest brains at the company here, so feel free to pop in any questions. But
Robert, tell them
with
again
that
the
being
link. Maybe we can put it in the chat, but that
Yeah,
Black Friday
it's-
Cyber Monday guide is pretty sweet, and everyone needs to download it. A lot of work went behind that one from the team, so shout out to Alexa and whoever else was involved because it's great.
yeah, it's really good.
The other thing too, I think we should mention is it sounds like we're promoting the Creatapalooza a bit more for anybody who's here is can potentially get to Austin, right?
It is in Austin, so there's a bunch of events going down actually. So let me see if this is up, but I believe it's up, and you guys can get it here first. Creatapalooza, we're bringing out a bunch of creators to understand and teach you all how to create, obviously, creative assets, how to measure those assets, and then also how to build systems around that creative. Because one of the biggest things that a lot of people don't have in place, and it's really hard to take the time to think about it, is how you can build an architecture that supports, especially when you start to spend a lot of money, what that looks like, whether that be UGC, working with an agency, so on and so forth. And so tickets are $100, and that includes all your food. So we're going to feed you breakfast, we're going to feed you lunch, we're going to feed you dinner, and then it's just at a spot called Fair Market. This is actually like 2 feet from the office, and it's this awesome kind of hangar space. And there's a big outdoor space. So we're with kind of keeping true to the name of the festival vibes. We'll have a big rager party on the second day. And then the first day we'll have some food trucks and stuff like that out in the back. So it'll be really fun. And then I don't believe this is up yet. So, but the Beluga Bash will be on the 1st. So if you guys are into pickleball, that will be a pickleball tournament that you can enter and win some gift cards to our vendors. So it should be really, really fun. That's kind of the housekeeping, if you'll bear with me. So we have the Black Friday Cyber Monday guide. Go grab that. Creatapalooza, go sign up today. And then we have the Beluga Bash, which should go live very, very shortly, possibly later today. We're just tightening up a few things on the page, and that's going to be out at a place called Dreamland, which is just a little bit out, maybe like 20 minutes away from Austin. It's the home of the MLP. Beautiful 16 courts. We're renting the whole thing out, so it'll just be triple whalers or people that want to come. So we'll have that. We'll have the splash pad. We'll have the miniature golf course, and then 16 courts, as well as a little vendor village to go through with some treats there. So D2C weekend pretty much going down. It's gonna be a blast. And you're coming out, right? You're coming out for Beluga and Creata. I believe Saunders coming out for both. If not, definitely Creatapalooza. He doesn't want to show people up on the pickleball courts. And then we also have some.
So I can play anybody. I'll play whatever.
Yeah.
Let's get out there.
I think you're going to be my partner. I thought we were going to run the doubles.
Yeah, you said you were waiting to hear back from somebody. I think you're
That's true. Well, Lindsay's, my fiance is still deciding, but she's probably going to dump me and try and go in singles. So we'll have 3 divisions. We'll have singles, singles men, singles women, and then doubles any config. So
Cool.
Anywho, that was a big long preamble, but Jeremy Roberts already coming with the heat. So
Yeah.
let's jump into this question first, and then we can kind of start riffing on Black Friday, Cyber Monday, because I have thoughts. People. Okay, so Jeremy Roberts says, can Triple Whale be used to find AOV of first-time purchasers, second-time purchasers, third-time purchasers, and so on? So who do you want to? Do you want to answer the slogan, Sonder? You want to have like a tag team here?
My first thought's going towards I don't all right, sorry, my brain went really fast for a second. The answer for first time purchasers for sure, right? So we can do that in the cohort table we're about to show you and the LTV 6090 page. The second and third time AOV, I don't think is going to be something we have because we bucket it into more of the LTV of the cohort. However, maybe using, what do you call it in Shopify? The flows? Maybe you could tag the customers each time they purchase with that second or third, and then we might be able to pull an AOV that way through the customer tag.
I guess a better question would be, why do you care about second and third time AOVs, Jeremy? Because normally you care about either AOV, which is going to be that first time purchase, and then LTV, which is going to be the totality of value that the customer is spending at your store. So just out of curiosity, what is the reason that you really care about second, third, fourth time, et cetera, purchases? Because maybe we can drill down to what the goal is and then reverse engineer how we could generate value from that.
Yeah, very good.
I just want to pop it in the chat. But because ultimately what you're going to care about AOV is because if you are a kind of AOV business like we talked about last time, where you can't get really any LTV from your customer when they purchase, then you're going to be very sensitive to that first time purchase and that AOV at that first time. But second, third, fourth time purchasers, very rarely should you be using ads to activate these people. They should be in your ecosystem, and you shouldn't be spending a ton of money on them to get them to purchase again. So then it really doesn't matter, because the AOV isn't gonna, there's no CAC associated with that. You already paid to get this person in. And if you do have to pay to get second, third, fourth time purchasers, then there's going to be some interesting ways, and just kind of understanding how your ecosystem is set up might be helpful, because I'm not a huge retargeting person, and especially not second, third, fourth time purchases. Maybe some reactivation stuff where you can do some post-pilot stuff where you're sending emails to people that spent a lot with you in the past. But I almost consider those like new purchases where they've kind of lapsed out, where they're pretty much out and they don't really know you anymore, and you're kind of in a way reactivating. But okay, we got some chat. Let's see what Jeremy says. Okay, I'm trying out an LTV equation given to me from my CFO where second time purchaser AOV plus first time purchaser AOV equals LTV. But I guess I would just use cumulative LTV from the platform, because why would you want to exclude third or fourth or fifth purchase from the LTV? But I get what you're saying. So yeah, I would use just actually, we'll show you here in the cohorts when we get into it, but a cumulative LTV to then understand how much these people are worth to you. And we can get as granular even down to the week, the day when you're acquiring these people. And then you're going to understand how they manifest value for you throughout your ecosystem, because the second, third purchasers, and feel free to push back, Logan or Sonder, if I'm talking out of my butt here, but I can't see a big reason why I wouldn't just use cumulative LTV versus second or third time purchases.
No, I think it's good to go ahead, Sonder, sorry.
Rock, paper, scissors. I like to use the new customer AOV on the Pixel page first to like understand my new customer AOV, specifically with like a first click attribution window, and then I like to toggle between event date and click date. So I think that's like a great place for me to start, and then that's where I like to pull up the actual cohorts page under insights to understand like that impact of my lifecycle marketing over time and what's leading. I think there is some benefit though, Jeremy, kind of what you're touching on is like a CDP, customer data profile, where you can like see subsequent like products people are purchasing, what the AOV is. I think more data could be beneficial, but I think at least from a macro view, I do like that cohorts page a lot.
Yeah, Logan, anything to add there?
No, I just think you could derive a little bit of it. Like, for example, the company I was working for before, we had lower price point items. So I could see where if a customer repeats, so it looks good. Like I've got repeat purchasers, but they were buying like a pair of socks for $10. It's not super advantageous for me, but it would show in the LTV metric. So one thing to look at on the summary page is scroll down. There's an LTV section. Pin that metric, and then use your date selector to select any date range you want. And that LTV number will be total revenue divided by the unique number of customers in the time period. And so if they are purchasing really low priced items on their second or third purchase, it would be kind of reflected there because your LTV would not be much higher than your AOV. Does that make sense? Like the larger that discrepancy, the more money that they're spending over that time frame.
100%. But for me, again, that's just going to be, again, a function of LTV, right? And so it's just easy to see like, hey, and that's why you can use your 60, 90-day LTV as well if you want the cliff notes of the cohorts, because then you can understand from first time AOV to 60 days to 90 days. If those deltas aren't that big, then you know that there is either a long sales cycle, people don't like to repurchase, or there's something wrong there. In terms of that, or it's just a function again of your business model, where it's an AOV business model where, like we talked about last time, Sonder's selling indestructible wallets. Like you're only going to buy it once unless you gift or something like that. So I think we're kind of muddying the water a little bit, but ultimately really you can use your new customer AOV, you can use new customer ROAS, you can use your first purchase AOV, 60-day, 90-day, and then ultimately once you have that person acquired, you shouldn't really be spending that much more money on them. So even in Logan's like description of buying a $10 sock, like it's still great. It's free $10. So it's not like you're using this much money to get somebody to activate. But at the same time, if there are some LTV expectations, $10 socks might be paper cuts to get you to where you need to be. And so you might need to get them into some sort of bigger purchase. But again, we're kind of getting super in the weeds there. Great question though. Fantastic question, Jeremy. Thank you.
Way to kick it off.
Right? What a fantastic. Chris Zimmerman has a comment here that I'm going to go through, and then let's talk some kind of theoreticals for Black Friday, Cyber Monday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
we are
Chris'
seeing
thing is good too, because this can go. I can talk to the strategy too here of what I did on Cyber Monday and Black Friday sales, because it's similar to what Chris is talking about. So this will be a good kickoff too.
Look at this. You guys are setting us up. And I promise Jeremy and Chris are not plants. These are real incredible humans. Some of the smartest marketers that are using Triple Whale. So it's amazing. Yeah, absolutely, Jeremy. We'll get you a recording. Yeah, I know cohorts can be really fuzzy. So we'll get you all skilled up, and then you can consume this asynchronously. All right, Chris Zimmerman. We are seeing our competitors continue racing to the bottom of the barrel, offering bigger and bigger sales. Instead of losing profits, we are considering a free gift offer. Smart. Spend $100, get this $30 gift. Super smart. Being apparel, we need the customer to be able to select their size, as well as still have the option to use an influencer code. Sorry if this isn't Triple Whale specific. No problem. These webinars are yours, so you're always welcome to ask any questions. Any apps that you know of. So let me see what. Do you want to jump in here, Logan, or?
Yeah, I mean, the one I use, I'm sure there's a lot. I know there's like one-click upsell, and then which is by Zipify maybe, but I use something called Also Bought With, which also powered the, if you're on any product page, it'll also show dynamic products that you should buy with that based on what other customers were viewing or buying. And then additionally, it had like this cool system to add upsells in your cart. I will say there's a caveat. I did use a developer to help with like the front end look of it, because the out of the box was a little cheesy. But if you don't really care about that, that's fine. And it did offer the ability for you to choose sizes, which was good. So Also Bought, I think it's called Also Bought. That's the app. But then there's one-click upsell that has some that I've seen a lot of customers use. So that's my app suggestion based on what I use.
Yeah, and what was the other one? Austin Noble out here. He's gonna kill me. AOV Boost, I believe, does this as well, and you just have to create a free product. or you can zero it out. I have to remember. But I used to use AOV Boost for, yeah, possibly rebuy as well. But I used to use AOV Boost as well to kind of do this. But this is a great segue into kind of what you were talking about, Logan. And so let's open up the floor a little bit in terms of, and always, like I said, everybody, feel free to jump into the chat, or if you have any questions, drop it in the questions. But how did you approach Black Friday, Cyber Monday? I want to hear your thoughts, and then we'll go to you, Sonder, and then we'll kind of start diving into some strategies and tactics.
Yeah. All right. So I'll try not to get too granular or too complex, but one thing that happened last year, rather, we were coming out of the pandemic, or maybe we were going back through the pandemic. I can't remember where we were, but in any case, it seemed like everyone started really, really early on sales and deals. I think we maybe 2 years ago, everything happened the week of Black Friday, right? So you started on Monday or Sunday. Last year, I think everyone started like the first week of November. Three strategies that worked really well for us. Now we're getting a little close here, but on the first strategy, but we launched a new product right up against the kind of beginning of the sales period, where we had a lot of people who had like pent up demand for this one product that we were relaunching. It only came in seasonally. So I would say that we were able to get like full revenue out of those people really early, like last week of October, which was great. We didn't have to offer a sale. We sold out of the product. And then we were able to actually capture a good percentage of those people even came back and bought during the sale period. So that was great. Really boosted that 60-day LTV that we look at, right? The next thing I did was almost every week leading up to the Black Friday, Cyber Monday stuff, we launched specials. So like week one this is back to the free gift. So we did like this free gift with purchase, this free gift with purchase. That was for us to like, one, it helped like keep things fresh and fun, but it also helped us learn like what are the levers that people care about most. Do they want a free t-shirt? Do they want a free pair of socks? Is it, what is it? Is it buy one, get one for like a specific pair of like swim trunks? We did that too. So I tried to keep every week really fresh, and then save the Black Friday, like that week of was when we like really did sales. And then the way I did this, I showed you guys the calculator I built, but we'll go into some of the details there. But what I did was I created tiers. So at a $200 price point, right? If your AOV is $200, you get X off. At $100, you get this. At 75, it was that. So there was also a threshold where like you had to order 125 to get free shipping. So everyone has these economics to their business, right? What does it cost to ship? What's the percentage off I'm willing to give at an AOV threshold to stay profitable? Those are the things that I kept in mind. But yeah, so new product launch helped. Free gift with purchase or bundles, and then discounts based on tiers. That's what I did.
Yeah, that's super helpful. Big fella, Sonder, what are your thoughts on Black Friday, Cyber Monday? How should people approach it?
And I don't have anything to add. Literally everything I had was what Logan just covered. But
we didn't plan that either.
With that, yeah, Black Friday is always like it's a hard one for me. I mean, we're kind of past like the time I really like to take advantage of it, which tends to be August and September, and really ramping up like my new customer acquisition to get emails, or like even like ramping up like your attentive offers and things like that to get offers during that time period. So, that's more maybe of a next year thing to start doing, but you could do it now. Like you could ramp up your attentive offers right now to just start to get new emails and phone numbers and build up those lists. So I think that's good now. Yeah, like Logan said, one thing my wife and I did is lots of launches. So that's kind of how we would differentiate, because to Logan's point, it is going like earlier and earlier, and you almost need something like unique to counter like discount codes. And the problem is you kind of almost have to save like your best codes for Black Friday. And then something like unique and special for like Cyber Monday. So for us, we would never do a code that would exceed like our Black Friday. So we would like really try to push Black Friday, but then we would do like still a good discount on Cyber Monday with like an additional gift that made it feel more like valuable. Or one thing that we did that was popular as well were like mystery boxes at like a really discounted price. And so that was like a good thing to go with it. So if you spent $100, you would get a free mystery box on top of that. And then we would have launches to kind of like support that. And then, yeah, the tiered system is like what we leaned into for like years. And we saw that work like incredibly well. So we would always typically start that at double whatever like our AOV is. And so if like our AOV was around like $30, let's say, we would try to then start that, I guess not exactly double, but like 50% or $50. And then we would try to go up in $50 increments. And then I think the highest tier we would always try to push was like $250, which for us, a clothing boutique was like a really good like order, especially if you're factoring in like a 20 or 30% discount on top of that. So those were some of our strategies that worked really well.
Ooh, I'll tell you one more that'll work. If you have a lot of inventory or a lot of products, like your SKUs are vast, one thing we did to differentiate Black Friday from Cyber Monday is I made a list of all the things we had high inventory in. So just go download your product list and then sort it by inventory level. And what I did was I just slashed prices. And so like on Cyber Monday, I had like a rule or whatever the flow is in Shopify set up to where on that date, it just flipped the prices and showed all the like discounts. And then you got all those discounts on top of the tiered discounts, right? And so you're basically just getting cash back into the bank for products that were sitting around. So that's one way to differentiate your Cyber Monday from Black Friday.
Look at all these amazing tips. Okay, we have a few questions and then I'll get into my rants. Okay, this was, let's see, who asked this? Okay, Chris again. In the past, we've always ran ads for the sales. If you started in early November, were ads ran or just email text to your VIP list?
For me, it always started with email. The VIP list gets like first dibs on any kind of like promotion. And then you have to be very, very specific with your media buyer and you have to understand your economics for the ads. We would always run ads if they made sense. If I was going to acquire the customer on a new customer acquisition cost that was healthy for us, all day. But I wanted to give our customers first dibs. So like my blanket response about ads throughout Black Friday, Cyber Mondays, maybe we wasted spend, but I hit my acquisition target and I knew what my AOV was going to be because of those discount thresholds. So as long as I was hitting my acquisition threshold and my AOV threshold, I was running ads just to get new customers in, as long as I was getting new customers.
Amazing. Well, technically, though, these wouldn't be new customers if this was your VIP list, right?
I mean, on the ads. If I'm running ads, it's new customer acquisition. But
okay, so you weren't doing any retargeting?
No.
Okay, that's super helpful. Any color, Sander?
Yeah, I mean, one thing that we did for our VIP list, just like period, my wife would have 2 launches every week. And we would always send the VIP list would get access 2 hours early. And so we just piggybacked off of that VIP offer for anything like Black Friday. We would actually do it like, I don't know, it was like 3 or 4 hours early on like, really on like Thanksgiving. Right. And so we just kind of always piggybacked off like that early access. So yeah, our VIP list always got early access no matter what to whatever sell that we were doing. That was just one of like the good perks of being on like our text list. So kind of answer it, kind of not, but yeah, included.
I'll tell you something about retargeting though, Robert. Now that I think about it, I might do retargeting in a sale period or Black Friday, Cyber Monday, only to improve exposure. And again, if I use NCPA as my target, then my CPA is always going to be lower than that, right? So
correct.
If I've hit my new customer acquisition target, you may be wasting spend, but you may be getting revenue in the door that like the inboxes and texts just get really crazy during those periods and everybody's inundated. So if by chance the ad helps with impressions there and getting them back to your site, then I guess I would be all for that.
Fascinating. And did you guys have different offers for your VIP other than just getting in early?
The VIP, I did something. I'm trying to think what it was. I know for a fact that the VIPs got it early, like Saunders saying, because I definitely wanted
Yep.
to reward them. I think one thing I did was I took all customers with I did this in Klaviyo, but like I pulled
Yep.
all customers with a lifetime value over a certain threshold. And let's say that like out of my 50,000 person list, that made up maybe 2,000 customers, right? And I remember sending them a special offer. Like I think that it was even more like it was a $200 threshold, but I knew they were going to order. They were okay with spending more money. And I think I
Yeah.
gave them a higher percent off, and there was a deadline to it. Like this literally expires at this time. And I sent a bunch of follow-up emails leading up to that. And since they were our best customers, I remember it working pretty well, but again, it's a small segment of the list, you know?
Okay, you hit a pet peeve of mine, but I'll
Yeah.
get back to that. Sonder, anything there? Did you guys do anything different for your VIPs outside of early access?
We didn't, but I did have clients that did, and
Mhm.
it did work like very well. What they usually did was actually included like a free like VIP type gift. So they like customized
Amazing.
swag to like their VIPs. So like that
That's
was like a
what I like.
cool, like, oh, that's a great idea, like, so if they did order, then they had like their own kind of like club shirt, So I thought that was always a cool thing they did that I wish we would have done.
Yeah, that's great. I love that. The one, so, and this is obviously in jest, but the one kind of big thing about I have issue with giving deep discounts to your VIP list is
Yeah, I knew
that
you were
these
gonna say
people
that.
are your these people are your biggest spenders. So like why are you
Yeah.
they don't need that much incentive to buy anyways. And then two, why are you going to give the biggest discount to the people that are the least price sensitive? Like they're going to spend the most money with you anyways. And so I get really like the economist in me, like the hairs on my neck get stood up when people are like, yeah, we're going to give our biggest discounts to our VIPs, where it's like, these people they're not price sensitive. They're a VIP for a reason because they spent a bunch of money with you. So what are other ways that you can make them feel special? Like to your point of getting them in early, I think is really cool. I do love what Saunders talking about, either exclusive gifts or some sort of like your tiering system. I'm actually very into where, so when we had, a client that was really smart about, he had a really low AOV, but he had certain products that were high sellers, but super, super high margin as well. And so we would just give them a free gift if they bought this little thing. It was like a dollar in terms of COGS, but it was like $10 on the site, and you get this free gift. And then the gifts would escalate as you buy more and more. And then we just take the margin into account because it's not that much of a cost to a business, but the perception is seen as very high, where it's like, I'm getting this $30 gift for free. I'm getting this $50 gift for free, when in reality, that $50 price point gift was only costing $10 in COGS or $7 in COGS. And so that's one of the ways that I like to keep my economics intact for VIPs, because you're incentivizing them with things that really don't matter. Like, why are you going to give up all this money when you don't have to? But that's my kind of little rant on the deep discounting of VIPs. If you want to give deep discounts, give it to people that are going to care about it and make them buy more. Like VIPs are just going to be happy and they're going to buy all this stuff, but you just start to push. Also, to your point, Logan, this is usually a small cohort. And
Yeah.
so like it's not like you're going to make it up across volume. Like these people are going to buy a bunch. And then furthermore, and this is kind of, I wasn't going to get into my Black Friday, Cyber Monday rants yet, but the way I see Black Friday, Cyber Monday is a money grab. And you need to approach it as that, because what happens is what you're doing for the most part with most people, it's not a new acquisition period. You're just pulling sales forward, where these are people that were going to buy in December, but now they don't. And then they just stock up on Black Friday because they know the discounts are coming. So what does that mean? That means all these people that were potentially customers in December are no longer customers because you satiated the demand. And so and you satiated the demand at a discount, which is also something that is like, so just keep that in mind. I think Black Friday, Cyber Monday is fantastic, really important to a business, but you really should approach it as a money grab. And how much effort do you want to put into that money grab? Because that's exactly what it is. And racing down and deep discounting your products, yeah, you might have this incredible month, but at the same time, like, you're just pulling these sales forward, and you can see the net out when you take into account either your Q4 or your actual November to December numbers, where your December numbers are trash unless you have a super heavy gifting vertical. But anyways, that's kind of my little kids version rant of Black Friday, Cyber Monday.
Hey, Robert, that brings up a thought around like your VIPs. Our first year of doing like a VIP early access, we sold out of like 90% of our inventory just giving our VIPs access. So it was like that night my wife was like scrambling, working with like her wholesalers to try to get more stuff for what was to come. So that really like transformed what we did the next year, and like it being almost like certain collections that we gave them early access to, or we built a collection just for that early access. Someone talked about like locking your site, and that's more or less like what we did is locked our site except for one collection page they could access. And that did actually help a lot. And funny enough, they ended up purchasing like twice because they came to get early access on the things we allowed, and then they came back and bought again with like the stock that second year that we opened it up to everyone. So anyway, good learning. Just wanted to piggyback on the VIPs are a blessing and a curse at times. So you want to spoil them, but you don't want to like over spoil them.
Yeah, I think you want to give. Sorry, go ahead, Logan.
No, I just think that's really interesting. One thing I think everyone should do though is also take an inventory count. Like one thing I was doing was we like put all of our products in Excel.
Black Friday, Cyber Monday checklist. Go down that.
Good. Yeah, put that. Yeah. But like you really need to understand like what does your inventory look like, and like what's the maximum amount of revenue you could make with what you even have available, and you kind of know what your best products are going to be anyway. So like I guess in Saunders' situation, I don't know if they gave a discount, but like you made all of your revenue in like one day, which is great. I mean, like, you know, if you didn't discount it heavily and the VIPs gobbled it all up, like that's your highest margin scenario, I think. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, for sure.
And they feel special. And it drives the FOMO of I'm not VIP. How do I become VIP? So next year I get in on this. So I think that's a brilliant way to do it. I have zero pushback there. In terms of locking a site, I'm torn on this because one, if you lock a site, you really don't want to have paid on because you're just pushing people to a closed door. So then you start to get into a weird place of paid. And then, so I think it can be interesting. I think you could do some things where there's gated products like Sandra was talking about, where it's like, hey, you can sign up for this drop. But I'm not super into totally locking the site. Again, it's totally contextual. If it's a crazy luxury product, if to Logan's point, there is a capped inventory where, like Sandra's wife, where if you sell out and you're happy because you can't get replenished anyway. So the faster you sell out, the better, and the least discounts, the better. And so you use basically artificial scarcity to drive the demand there. I'm not super against that, but I just think that's so rare in terms of a lot of D2C stores where they either don't have inventory or they have some sort of hero SKU that they're trying to make really exclusive. I just, it may be some sort of exclusivity play there, but in terms of like totally locking your site, it turns it into a drop model. And again, a drop model can be, I mean, Supreme's done really well there. Last Crumb Cookies does a really good job with the drop model, but I'm just not super into it. But I do think depending on the context, it can be advantageous how you deploy that. But it's a great question. All right. This is getting lively. Great questions, everybody. Please keep them coming. They're fantastic.
I haven't even looked at the table yet.
I know. We'll get there, I promise. Who'd this come from? I'm trying. If you can put the questions in the question box, I don't mind moving them over, but then I forget who asked them. So I want to make sure I give you wonderful humans credit for these incredibly awesome questions.
This was Richard.
Richard. Okay, amazing. Richard, does Triple Whale work with marketplaces as well as e-commerce platforms? Good question. I believe it's just e-commerce. What do you mean by marketplaces? Like shop or like Facebook Marketplace, etc.? Or I guess I don't know what he means by marketplaces.
I think like a traditional marketplace, like one of my previous roles was at a boutique marketplace. So we would like sell other boutiques items like on our website. So they would have like a storefront on our marketplace. And then we would more or less use like our distribution list. So I think it's just,
Hmm.
I mean, if they're connected to Shopify and selling through Shopify, then yeah, we could totally connect to marketplaces.
I think the biggest, and this is Logan's domain, but as long as the transaction terminates on Shopify, we pretty much can track it, correct?
Yeah, or the order is passed back. I mean, like the marketplaces I'm thinking of, like Amazon is a marketplace. Fair, which is like a wholesale, that's a marketplace. Now, Fair, I think it's Fair,
Yeah.
Faire.
Yeah.
Now, those orders aren't transacting on Shopify, but they're sent back to Shopify in most cases. So they have a tag behind them, and you could report on that information. Amazon, no, but yeah, I'm not sure whether maybe we need to get more specific with the marketplace.
Yeah.
If
And
the
if
order
you
data
do
is sent
actually,
back to Shopify, we should have it.
and if you do have the FinHub, you can actually see how your other people that pay you are doing, because you'll be able to see those deposits into your account, but not in terms of like the real time that you're getting on the summary page. But great question, Richard. Thank you for that. All right. Well, oh, Tyler's actually using the question box. Powerful, powerful Tyler Spitz. Let's go. Okay, Zach Stewart, this is fantastic. Even though we're about a month behind building lists, remarketing for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, what strategies have you leveraged to encourage customers to give email, phone, and what offers are you using now to get signups? This is a sensational question, Zach. Logan, what'd you guys do at Section 119? What was your bread and butter?
Yeah, I'm trying to think through to make sure I don't give a crappy answer. I mean, I think you're gonna have to give up something one way or another. I think if you say if the idea is like sign up for our list, our VIP list, for example, and you're gonna get first dibs, you're gonna lose out on potential revenue, right? Because they know a sale is coming, whatever they're eyeing, as long as it's not sold out, that they're gonna wait around. So if you're okay with kind of the delay in conversion there, I might go with something like that, and maybe even tease it a bit more. Like if you already know what your sale's going to be, and you're okay with waiting, then drive that a bit. Like, hey, our biggest products are going to be at 20% off. Sign up now to get first access to that. That would probably drive a lot of signups, but they're probably not going to buy right now. That's what I would say.
Yeah, Sonder.
Yeah, this touches on my attentive comment earlier. One thing though we did to update our attentive offer, I think actually we were using PostScript at the time. This was a few years ago, but we would update our offer where before it would always be like a 10% off, like standing, right? If we got your email or SMS, then what we would do is say like save 10% now plus get first access to all Black Friday sales or deals or whatever you want to call it. And so that's kind of how we just upgraded it, to Logan's point, to try to drive a purchase today, but then also incentivize what would be coming down the road. So with the Black Friday. So that's one thing that helped a lot. Also,
And something right now you could test right out of the gate, especially if you're using, I think you could do it at Attentive, but Klaviyo for sure. You can A/B test your pop-ups, and then they have like the flow of the pop-up. So once they give you their email or phone, you can show them something else. I might A/B test an offer, right? So like I was saying, the first month of November, the first week, I mean, or even like right now in October, do some sort of bundle or free gift and A/B test that gift or offer in the pop-up to see which one produces the most signups. And then once they've completed the sign up on that same pop-up, show them the unique code they need and then link them out to the page where they can add that product to their cart.
Yeah, those are brilliant answers. And to Logan, there's always going to be something that you're going to give up, but I feel like the three big incentives are like exclusivity / timing, status, and discounting. So those are kind of the three big vectors that you can play with, and depending on what the goal is, because to Sandra's point, it might be to drive sales that day, and that's going to be a challenge. So there might be some headwinds there, and so maybe you can give a discount for like that discount code, yada that day, but then you're entered into a raffle that you could win this or something like that. And you can start to build kind of these things of like, depending on what you want to do to incentivize people, because there is a freezing effect that happens for sure for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Like I was saying, that's what you're doing, is essentially pulling the sales forward from people that would normally buy in December, and then just double up, triple up in November because they're getting it way cheaper, et cetera, et cetera. Something else that you can play around with that I've seen success with, and you need a little bit of flexibility or just insight into your fulfillment. But you can play around with faster delivery times. So there's some other things there, again, that you can kind of move around with, like, hey, if you order today, you're going to get shipped out, et cetera, et cetera. But ultimately, those are going to be the big levers to pull on, where people either want it faster, they want it cheaper, they want the status of it, or they want the exclusivity of it. So those are kind of the ways that I see that. And to Logan's point, I don't really know if there's a really great answer or the right answer for everybody, where just play around with stuff, or at the end of the day, just put the damn spinning wheel on there, baby. Just go the wheel spinner. Let's go, kids.
People still use the spinning wheel.
I hate it. I absolutely hate it. But I've seen two sites that do proper numbers from it. So it's like, it's one of those gimmicky things that actually works for some people. So I personally hate it, but like I said, I've seen some sites that do some numbers for that. So I hope that's helpful for you, Zach. Nice. Amazing. Let's see. We got a little bit. This has been awesome. Okay. What does TDub have views to see what customers came in through discounts and VIP? Yeah, well, it depends on how you're tracking that. But if you're tracking it through a coupon code and or tag, we can definitely show that to you, or a refer, right? In UTMs, you can still, or in cohorts, we can go by refer still as well, right? With the LTV segment.
It's just not using pixel data right now, but it's based on Shopify refer, right?
Okay.
But discount code, yes. So it's going to be based on first order discount code. So it's not, first order. I think right now it's first order discount code. We're building this out in the future where the product filter, which will show you guys these filters, you're going to have this ability to say first order or any order. So if they use this discount code on any order, show me their statistics. If they ordered this product on first order or any order, show me these statistics. So that's on the roadmap, I believe.
Amazing. Fantastic question. Yeah. All right. And you know this gentleman, huh, Sander? Amazing. Shout out, Zach. Let's go.
We go way back.
Any friend of Sander is a friend of the T-Dubs. All right. Tyler. So good. Tyler Spitz, would you find any value in setting up a wait list for people who want to see the sales and then do full sends to your list periodically throughout, and then push most of your material to this wait list? I saw you bobbing your head, Sander, so we'll start with you and then I'll go to you, Logan.
Yes. Yeah, I think any way you can effectively segment and get people excited, because then you can hype this list up beforehand, do some little teasers, some sneak peeks, a little Chris Farley, Adam Sandler action with the teasing, if you get that reference. So yeah, that's what I'd say.
Logan, what about you?
No, I'm all about it. I mean, just like Sander said, pay attention to where they signed up and what the offer is. You can get pretty granular too on what pop-up they signed up on. So if the pop-up had something about waiting for the sale, make sure you use that in your segmentation when you're building the segment. In Klaviyo, for example. And then, my only other suggestion too, as you're sending emails and SMS and things like that throughout the sales period, you guys can fight me on this if you want. My biggest pet peeve was sending sale emails repetitively to people who already ordered in the sale period. So I always built an exclusion audience of people who ordered in that period. And I excluded them from most of my information, my email or SMS, unless there was something new that they would or should care about.
So I agree with both of you guys. I should probably have some more heat on this to disagree, but I think segmentation, delivering the message, and then I'd also add one more thing, especially for SMS. I found that, so sometimes I like to be a wordsmith and be really cute and clever and blah, blah, blah. I found that SMS just meat and potatoes. Here's the deal, here's the discount, here's how to get it, is going to be way more impactful, where people are just, to Logan's point, they're just inundated with all these communications. And so as long as you're making sure that you're meeting the expectation of what that communication is, and then also, again, with SMS, I've found that just short and sweet, here's the discount or here's the deal, here's the place to get it, you rock. Like anything more than that, where you start to get into this diatribe of why they're so awesome or blah, blah, blah. I just found that conversion rates plummeted where people want, because, and the other thing I would say is with SMS, it's super impactful, but be very sensitive to those frequencies because it's very intimate, and those open rates are incredible. But for that open rate, you're going to piss a lot of people off, especially to Logan's point. If you're hitting and hammering somebody that's already said, yes, I'll buy this. I did buy it. I love it. And then you're like, oh, by the way, do you want to buy some more stuff? Like, no, I don't. And like, that can be very, very, it can impact the brand in a negative way. And especially that'll roll up to you as the marketer, where you really don't want to be hammering these people that have already done everything you asked for them, and you were just lazy in terms of how you're segmenting your audiences and understanding how to carve those people out. So it's a really good question, though.
You know what else
That's
really
great.
grinds my gears about that topic?
Yes, another
That's
great
the thing. Wasn't it like
great
a meme
reference.
back in the day before memes were a
It's
thing?
family.
It was
It's the
grind-
Family Guy. It's the
Yeah,
Family
yeah,
Guy
okay.
segment.
What
Yeah,
grinds my
yeah.
gears?
You know what grinds my gears? Great.
For anybody
Great.
watching, please, pretty please. I'm not trying to be like I'm the best marketer in the world, but use some personalization in your essence. Dude, like my favorite brands, like I guess they're not a customer. I don't think Huckberry. I love them. But man, if it's not personalized at all, like I used to, like, every single SMS I sent out, it was like, hey, this is Logan. Here's what's going on. I just would talk to them as if I was sending my like friend a message about X, Y, or Z. We used to get hundreds and hundreds of people responding. And then one day we switched it over to our CX manager, and it would be like, hey, this is Frank. And they're like, where's Logan? Like, why is Frank messaging me? It's like, anyway, it was just great because they really felt like Logan was talking to them for whatever reason. And I feel like no one that I subscribe to sends me a personal message. It's all like, next 24 hours only, get
That's
20%
beautiful.
off. Okay. Thanks, dude.
That's a really good idea. I actually didn't do that, so you would have hated me. That's fantastic. That's a really good pro tip.
I don't hate anybody.
There's
Just
also
make that channel personalized as if it's your friend.
so well put. And there's also a certain aspect of it's hard to hate a person. It's easy to hate an automation. And so you see this a lot in CX kind of stuff. But like if you can humanize it, and then I like that though. Yeah, give it a little personality. Fantastic. Look at this. Then just bring him on for his great fashion taste and wonderful hats. This
Got that
kid
off my
actually has
chest
good
today. I
things to
feel better.
say. Let's go. Let's go. That's a really good pro tip, actually. I really like that a lot. Okay. Ooh. Another hot take here. This is from Ruslan Galba. I hope I pronounced that correct, Ruslan. Did you try reach CPC campaigns on Facebook with your Klaviyo audiences? I did. So I'll jump in here and then we'll go to Logan and then Sandro. I did do some reach campaigns for some higher ticket AOV stuff. They're okay. They didn't break the bank. They didn't make me a bunch of money. They were okay. So like I hate to give you the cop out answer, but definitely test it out. But yeah, they're okay. Have you guys had any success, Logan or Sandro, with reach campaigns?
I only did this with Klaviyo audiences if it was a segment of an audience that hadn't opened up an email. So kind of like your low engagement. That would be the only time I would want to more or less double dip between Klaviyo and Facebook. So that was a good way to get in front of those people. Like, you know, a lot of times you can get into a spam filter or something like that. If they're marking another apparel company or something else as spam, sometimes Google will just like automatically group you. So that was always like a thing that I would do on Black Friday was low engagers into like a reach campaign like that. And so that seemed to work well, but I never really tried it with people who were active and opening. It just felt like I just wasn't willing, I guess, to cannibalize that way. So yeah, that was my preference.
No, great answer. What about you, Logan? Any success with reach campaigns?
I don't know if I have much to add. I don't remember us. I mean, I remember when iOS was happening and stuff like that. We were playing around with different objectives, but I think we always went with the purchase objective instead of just a reach campaign. But I don't know, test it. I think anything's worth testing. See what happens.
Yeah. Honestly, I've found, and so I used to, in a previous life, work for Whole Foods. And if you have some sort of event or something like that, reach campaigns can be kind of helpful because they're going to maximize obviously your reach versus conversion campaigns are going to be maximized on who can I serve this ad to with the highest probability of converting. So again, it depends on what that's why the reach campaigns are in that awareness vertical versus that conversion vertical. But really good question though. Very good question. Definitely test it out, but I have yet to see like it be a real big needle mover for all the people that I know doing numbers. But great question, Ruslan. Jeremy, thank you for popping it into the actual questions. So this is Jeremy Roberts, totally rando question. And I realize we only have 5 minutes left, so we should probably pop into cohorts or at least talk a little bit about how we can use cohorts. But I hope this discussion was really lively, and we can obviously take you guys offline, or if you have any questions and you're in Narwhal Nation, you can pop them in there. We look at those questions as well. But TW was founded, and there's 3 co-founders. I believe it was founded, March last year, something like that, or earlier last year. It really kind of came off the ground in August-ish, and then in November we launched our attribution solution, and then it really started to hockey stick in January. And now we're hovering around over 6,000 plus merchants, tracking almost 10% of Shopify's GMV. We're in 65 plus countries. So life is good. And there's to answer your question, there's not one founder. There's actually 3 co-founders. So our CEO AJ, our COO Max, and then our CTO Yvonne, who is based in Jerusalem with all of our dev and engineering. Those are the 3 co-founders, the 3 whales, if you will. See what I did there, Sonder? See what I did there? I'm on my game, aren't I? I'm on it, baby. I mean, I just threw in
the Crunchbase link. So
look at that. Let's go, kids.
Appreciate you
put in our TechCrunch article.
Yeah, exactly.
TechCrunch article.
Flexi. Amazing. So I would just say, in terms of your Black Friday stuff, really be sensitive to your inventory, because if you don't have a bunch of inventory, yes, you want to, again, this is always going to be dependent on your business goals, but if you do want to maximize the value you get out of that inventory, fire selling it on a Black Friday, Cyber Monday is probably not going to be the best thing. And so understanding how you can get the most for that, really leveraging high margin products as gifts for either upsells, or cross sells, things of that nature to incentivize people. I absolutely love Logan's tiering model, where you're buying more money and then your discount can kind of escalate to make sure that you're really cushioning that. I think Sonder had a bunch of really great points in terms of VIP. I love Logan's text point as well. I think building that text channel through a personality is a really brilliant idea. In terms of communication, I would say frequency isn't as big of a deal as meeting the expectations of what people signed up for. So if people sign up for alerts every hour, don't feel bad about messaging them every hour. But if somebody signed up for, hey, I want to be notified when the sale starts, and then you hit them 17 times, that might not be the most advantageous communication mechanism. And then the last thing I'll say, and then I'll turn it over to my beautiful 2 people over here also on the show with us, is, again, make sure that you understand that Black Friday, Cyber Monday is a money grab. And so how much resources do you want to put into this money grab, and how much money are you grabbing out of this bag? Because at the end of the day, you're not really measured off of how well you do Black Friday, Cyber Monday. You're measured off of how well you did this month, how well you did this quarter, how well you did this year. And so making sure that the goals of the year, the quarter, and all of that aligns with your Black Friday, Cyber Monday strategy, because I've just seen it so many times where you have this massive pop on Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and then December is just a dead month. And then actually, I have one other question for you guys before closing remarks. What are your thoughts on starting sales early?
Worked out for us. I mean, as far as the numbers go, like we almost doubled what we did the previous year. So I feel like we would have left
because you started early. How early?
It's tough to say. Like, is it because we started early? But like, we had like amazing weeks, and we still had an amazing, Black Friday, Cyber Monday weekend. So I think the people who were willing to buy early were like, great, this is the discount I want, and I'll take it. And I think there were people who waited and waited and waited, just thinking something better was going to happen. And we still captured those people too, once they realized there wasn't going to be anything crazy different.
Amazing. So it did work out for you. You started November 1.
Yeah, but remember we did like different bundles, like buy
So you
one
were
get one, or we did like here's a gift with purchase, and then like the week of Black Friday is when like all those discount tiers kicked off.
amazing. What about you, Sandra? Did you guys ever start early or strictly just Black Friday, Cyber Monday?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it both ways. I think it does come down to the brand for sure. So that will be my caveat.
Okay.
Generally speaking, I don't
Yeah.
I don't love it because I try to steer away from like discount customers because I don't ever think they're a great representation of
Love
your
that.
LTV. And at the same time, some companies it will work like really well to do it, and you have great brand. Like if it's like a Liquid Death, right? Like they're going to get away with whatever they want to do. So I think it really just comes down to how much brand equity you have. And I mean, I don't want to be. I'm not like the three-eyed raven or anything like that, but I
So
know a
many
lot of.
amazing references. Is the new
All right,
one good?
Brant.
I haven't touched it yet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
good.
good.
We'll
Is
talk
it
about
good?
that later. Let me get my point
Okay,
out. It's good.
sorry.
It's good. It does feel like a lot of people are going they're going early and earlier. I think there is a fear of what's going to happen more at like the consumer spending, and so I think people are trying to get ahead of that.
Okay.
So that could be like a consideration to take into account, but it could be the opposite where if people are tightening up, maybe they just only want to spend on that Black Friday. So I would just be like cautious in, yeah, I don't know. I think you could do some tests. I'm always a big fan of the tease. So you
Yeah.
can start teasing your Black Friday earlier and earlier and get them excited and have them almost like put that money away for that time. So anyway, I think it's a good year to probably try to liquidate as much inventory as possible. Feels like winter might be coming, a little slowdown might be coming. So I don't want to be
Another Game of Thrones reference. Jimmy,
the bearer of
Christmas.
bad news.
This kid, Lord Commander Sonder. So I
King
think that's
Brant.
fantastic. And yeah, exactly. I think that's fantastic advice. I'll give you an anecdote. So we did a Black Friday, Cyber Monday, massive, and then the next year we started on Monday and then trickled out, blah blah blah. And we ended up making more money when we just did the truncated sale than when we trickled out across the actual week. And so again, super anecdotal. It was a health and supplements business, but we found it more profitable to have just this big pop on Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and we had two different deals versus trickling it out through that. And we also had a better December when we had the truncated sale than when we elongated it out for the week. But again, to Sandra's point, always contextual to the goal and always contextual to the business. But that's what we saw. Yes, Chris, this will be available for post hoc consumption. I know we're 3 minutes over, so I want to be cognizant of everybody's time. If you have an extra question, pop it in there. We didn't get to cohorts. That was the whole point of this, but I hope this is really helpful. If you do have questions about the cohorts, just ping us in Narwhal Nation. We can help you out. But what I would suggest is go in there and look back as long as you can. Roll it up by cumulative LTV. So there's a little checkbox that says cumulative. There's a little toggle that says LTV. Click both of those things and then see the people that you're acquiring in the month of November and see their 6-month LTV and understand, is that better than my account average at all? And if it is, then you should spend up. If it's not, I would be cautious in terms of the economics that you give away. But Logan, let's have you sign off and then we'll go to you, Sonder, and then we'll wrap this thing up.
Yeah, my only other thing on that, just like Rob said, look at November and December of last year, look at cost per acquisition, and then look at your AOV right out of the gate. Is that healthy for you or not? If it is, great, do the same thing. If it's not, go back to the drawing board and either acquire customers for less or increase AOV. Then look at your LTV metrics. And if you make it back in 90 days and you're comfortable with that, fantastic. Go do the same play. But if not, go back to the drawing board and try to either make more money or acquire them for less.
Well said. Sonder, any more Game of Thrones puns or any closing remarks?
Nope. House of Dragons is good. Minus they keep changing the actors.
I know. Gosh.
It's the only con.
Seriously? What do you mean?
They're jumping ahead in time a lot faster than Game of Thrones. So like mid through the season, we just jumped from like the younger people to now they're like the older versions. They're new actresses.
Oh my gosh, that's gonna be so hard to follow.
It's not hard
Oh
to
my
follow. You just start appreciating like their acting ability, and then it switches, and you're like, oh, okay. So
Yeah,
Oh
like if you really like those
no.
actresses and they're gone, you're like, oh well. Anyway, it's all
Yeah.
good regardless. They're good.
that's great. It's good. They're redeeming themselves. They're good. So yep,
Yeah,
nothing to add. Good luck out there. It's my favorite time of the year, but also I know it's the most stressful time of year for everyone. So do your meditations, your exercise, whatever you need to do to get in good headspace, and we'll show you
Exactly. And
some good
remember,
stuff.
you are not your ROAS. Great podcast title. Great podcast title. Shameless pun. Go listen to it. Subscribe to it today. Yeah, that's fantastic stuff, guys. I really appreciate that. Like I said, we will be hovering around in Narwhal Nation. If you guys have any extracurricular questions, as well as on the Twitters, feel free to ping us at Triple Whale. And then we do have Creative Palooza. If you guys want to come out to Austin and you need an excuse, it's going to be an amazing 2-day event. And then if you're into pickleball, November 1st will be the Beluga Bash, and the 2nd and 3rd will be Creative Palooza. So you can come out and do the whole dang thing. That's all we got. We wrapped up another Whale Wednesday. Thank you for joining the webinar. If you guys have any other questions, or how TWU is almost done, it's in the last stages of web dev. So we should have it probably in the next 2 weeks, maybe sooner. I want to be better about my timelines. I've been a little bit excited about getting it out, and I've missed a couple deadlines, so I'm trying to pad in a little bit. But yeah, we're going to be launching with about 20 videos, and there's a really great video actually on cohorting, Creative Cockpit, Pixel, the whole 9 yards. And we'll be adding to this as well. It won't be this monolithic curriculum. It'll be this very fluid. People will be making amazing content, not only triple whalers, but some of our bigger agency owners, bigger brand owners. It'll be a really cool group effort. If you look over at Webflow University, that's kind of our big muse there. But thank you for that question, Chris, and a little plug there for TWU coming soon. You'll see more of these two pretty faces. Actually, they were instrumental into getting those videos filmed. What else am I missing? It's Creative Palooza. We have the Beluga Bash. Oh, the Black Friday Cyber Monday guide. If you don't have it, go get it already. All you got to do is pop in your email address. We'll send you an email with the guide. It's really long. It's super comprehensive. There's also this really incredible checklist if you just want to kind of understand how you can best prepare for that. It is a little bit late in the day, but you can still get ahead of things. You could probably still, if you are going to do any kind of retargeting or anything like that, you can probably still start putting and really filling up those audiences now if you go hard in October. Another thing we didn't actually get to talk about was maybe people are still here. You guys got 2 minutes? Can I bring up one little, like what do they call this in the concert industry? An encore,
Encore,
Logan?
baby.
Encore.
An encore. The kids didn't even know it was coming. An encore. Oh, for sure, Abir. Thank you for joining us. Did you guys ever cut off ads during Black Friday, Cyber Monday? You keep
No.
it running?
Mine was on the target. So if we were hitting the new customer acquisition target, I was all good with spending.
Oh, wow. Okay. So I'm the only one that's ever rode the lightning. We actually would overspend all the way up until the week of Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and then we just cut off all of our ads. So not saying to do that. We did really well with it, but that's something that you might want to put in the back of your mind of, is there a way that you can kind of spend up? Because the reason I say this is you get into some auctions where you're just spending so much against behemoths that like it's the most expensive time to buy. And I have very, like, you get pushed out of a lot of auctions. And so I found that it was better for me to blow my load on the first 3 weeks of November and then just kind of cruise it out to still hit my pacing versus pace uniformly over the year. So anyways, might be something that you guys want to try. But again, as always, test. And Logan's a better media buyer and Sandra's a better media buyer than me. So maybe I was screwing my clients over. But we hit our numbers, and that's what happens, right? And you want to hit the numbers. So thanks so much, folks. Oh, we didn't give away any merch. What should we do?
Still waiting on my
We
hoodie.
gotta-
I
Oh, we never sent you a hoodie? Oh,
Just
man.
kidding.
Maybe you can get a hoodie faster than Logan. What's
First
a fun
2
question?
people to message Raba on Norwal Nation get free merch.
Ooh, amazing.
Everyone's scrambling to join now.
Everybody's scrambling to join. Yeah, you have to be a triple whaler, so there's that. But so the first 2 people that message me on Narwhal Nation, and then just message me to make sure that you were listening, or killer whales are not whales. message me that. And then if you at me on Twitter at let's do that, at Rob Arehill with killer whales are not whales, I'll send you a hoodie as well. So the first person that messages me on Twitter, and then the 2 people that message me on Narwhal Nation, killer whales are not whales. Sorry for going 10 minutes over. I hope this was really helpful for you guys. If it wasn't and you want to rewatch it to make sure that it can be helpful, you will be able to receive it post hoc. Sonder, Logan, you guys are the best. Thank you so much for always bringing the heat and helping all of our wonderful users. And I think that's it, folks. That's all we got.
Thanks, Pop.
See y'all.
Amazing. Bye, everybody. Have a wonderful day.